everybody. Is Honey here?
Yeah,
Well, great, honey. You ready to go?
I've been ready since I got here.
Yay, honey, and all that.
I don't know about that, but anyway. Oh, so now everybody, Richard, I'm just going to do it from,
Sure.
because I really want to see everybody except you three. I'll have to have my back to you, which I don't want to do. No, it's not okay, but either you got to move or I'm going to have to twist around.
Have that better.
Really?
The wooden bench.
No, then I can't see them.
I've got
You know?
wrote two pieces here. And one is
That's actually a better stage.
What's that?
That's a better stage spot right
Oh,
there.
Yeah, you're in a
yeah.
Because then they can see you, then they can see you, or we can see you.
Yeah, that's why and a light is good. Okay, so everybody, now for something completely different.
yeah.
You've had the privilege of listening
You can go
to,
after Honey.
what?
We're just getting prepared for you here.
Are ya?
Rebecca. Hi. Linda.
So now for something completely different, I hope, because this time I beseech all of you to interact with me, but I'll give you the directions. So this is the story. I mean, Ruth didn't set it up, which leaves it up to me. I'm here as a part of the Friendly Spike Theater Band, a true privilege that I've had for about 17 years. And this year I was asked to write the history of Mad People's Theater from the point of view of the dogs, because Friendly and Spike were two dogs. So these are their voices, and they need a chorus of buddies. And so just be prepared to transform into some kind of canine. That's all I ask. Okay? And thank you all for being here and for staying and for supporting. I'm mad. I matter, making a difference. This is an acrostic. You can read it up and down, straight up, or straight down. Howling back for the Friendly Spike Theater Band. Quote, I saw the best minds of my generation destroyed by madness. End of quote. It's the first line from Allen Ginsberg's Howl. Well, your generation ain't the only frickin' one, Bard Ginsberg, and so we howl at the dogma, at the doggerel, and at the doggedy daughters, because I have seen the greatest minds of my generation excel because of madness. We're mad and we're proud. Chorus and audience speaks out loud. Do you hear it? Listen. We're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs of the world. I stamp my feet, wiggle my tail, and howl, howl back. Because we are howling for 1, 2, 3, 4 forwards towards a new creative vocalization of yips, barks. Come on, everybody. No, I am resilient, not destroyed. I'm emerging. I'm mad. I matter, making a difference, singing this song. This is an urge. The urge is an urgency. The urgency is an emergency. Emerge and see. Oh, dear Bard Ginsberg, your time and my time are different. You lived during the beat generation. I live in a time when I can move to my own beat, when I can write beat poetry for Bill Bissett. In a complacent world, let sleeping dogs lie. They are content. And if not content, they become distracted. You know, sex, sax, drugs, bugs, pugs, hugs, rock and roll, until one curious, awakened bitch starts to stir. Like a tenacious terrier, she asks questions. She sees stories, she knows she can make a difference. And so with her cohorts, Cuddly Smiles and Barking Sundog, they made theater. The Wool Gatherer, March Festival of the Arts, it's happening. Rochdale, Bard Ginsberg, where you and Maestro John Burroughs came to sniff at the goings-on, and on to U of T, where you, Bard Ginsberg, you and your drum found me. We are connected in time and events and concerns and business. Do you hear me? Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs of the world, to the yips, the bark. Come on, the dicks, the licks, the bites, the snuggles, and the cuddles. My holy howling howlies. We don't need your sympathy. We need opportunity. Housing, education, socialization, inclusion, accessible urban parkland. We need to destroy stigma. We need healthy food. We need good breathable air. We need everything human beings need. And guess what? We are human beings. Transformative, inspired, misunderstood, howling beings. Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs of the world. The yips, barks, growls, sniffs, slobbers, nips, pulls, digs, licks, bites, snuggles, and cuddles. Listen to the howling. It will direct you. The howling is the whisper of the wind. Follow it. It is directing. It starts softly. Disability, visibility. Say it again. Disability, visibility. One more time. Disability, visibility. And so the bitches, the holy howling howlies, created, marked, living with a stigma. This is important to note. Just because it can't be seen doesn't mean the cause. Doesn't mean it doesn't really exist, because it is a cause. It is a burden, a hidden, unbidden nuisance. Do you hear it? Listen, howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs of the world, to the yips, the barks, the nips, the slobbers, the pulls, the licks, the licks, the bites, the snuggles, the cuddles. Ah, yes, stigma. The cloak that covers rage and secrets and eccentric behavior. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come under my cover and we'll burn. I mean, I'm on fire. I don't mean to burn anything, but you see what I mean, do you? This stigma that keeps people apart, misunderstood, and very, very sad. This is why we're howling back. And we did it with theater. After Marked Living with a Stigma came, I Will Not Fall. This time baying and braying about domestic violence. Oh yes, out of the closet came this topic, because it was time, as this is much too common, and this one knows no boundaries. It affects any perpetrator who is unfulfilled, hopped up on chemicals, disillusioned, and especially alpha dogs, or those who think they are, and alpha dogs who want to be what they are not. The statistics are stark. 1 in 4 women experiences domestic violence at some point in their lifetime. How much more difficult it is for those that are marginalized, poor, challenged by mental health, and the other chorus of inadequate housing, unemployment, and details too complex to pinpoint in a few words. Domestic violence is opaque, hidden, and needs to be put into view, so that the stigma can be removed, disintegrated, and made very, very visible and very, very loud. After all, a burden shared is a burden lessened. Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs. The yips, the barks, the growls, the sniffs, the slobbers, the nips, the pulls, licks, bites, snuggles, cuddles. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone has something to say. Every bitch and alpha dog, pet pooch, comfort smooch wants attention. We all need it. None of us, all of us, can give it. But those that can do, and those that can't, I can't speak for. As the elders taught, we did not come here to teach you. We came here to love you. Love will teach you. Rochdale, those hallowed halls in time bedecked with excrement and angels of hell, braying demons and suicidal screamers, an institute of higher learning, oh yes, very high, gave way to welcome new ideas, nightmares, and the symbol for no, dog, no, until the clarion call of I will not fall started to ring, and it rang for the hearing, and it rang for those that only could hear what the rest couldn't. I will not fall, a chant, a mantra, the invocation of the brave. The media heard the sound, the people gather round, and all the ground begin to wail, keeping sharp as a knife. I did not fall, I did not crumble, I did not fail, I only stumbled, I only teetered, I nearly failed, I merely stumbled. I have prevailed. And from poetry to monologues, it all stems from the voice of dogs. From thesis to theater, we can't make this story neater. Because a tale came to us from spirits and through angels, angels of 999, I mean, stories of people locked behind walls, working for nothing day in and day out, people so different they created in textile, they created with seeds. They had no one who could really hear their pleas. Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs. Time behind walls. Some took to scaling those heights. Some so bereaved their barks unheard in their plight. Time heals all wounds, and wounds many heals. But a yip in the future brought out the mongrels, the curs, the mangy, and the absurd. Hear the call of father and daughter, survivors of a Holocaust, resilient purveyors. Somehow, somewhere, someone heard their prayers. Edmund Hughes shot and killed on a street. His anguish was felt. He did not die in defeat. Somewhere, somehow, the defunct puzzle factory, born out of stories told by the forlorn misfits, were finally finding their fit, and a sound from those tied became fit. Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the snuggles and cuddles. Now we come to the girls, those bitches, bitchin' 'cause they knew they were different. They knew they mattered. They knew their howlings needed to be splattered everywhere. Every how, and thus they took their flight and said they would take the responsibility of their privilege, feeling generational links like yours, Bard Ginsberg, and that of your mother, and thus with this newfound dignity they formed a camaraderie and pushed forth onto the girls of Grandview. Oh yes, those girls, targets of the bitchicide. Put them aside, you know, bitchicide, the killing of bitches. The females, just because they are female, the authorities wanted them to ride the tide of time unnoticed. But these bitches weren't having it. They howled and bayed, their doggery rose above walls and tree lines over waters and dumpsters. They would not be invisible, unequitable, silent. No dogs' bodies, these dames. These bitches pawed and stamped their ground. They made headway, something to be said for camaraderie, the camaraderie of unity. The threat always there, be good or you'll get sent to Grandview, unmanageable, truant, escaping an unhappy home, 12 years old or maybe 13 or 14 or 15 or 16 or 17 or 18, formative years, ripe, nubile, virginal, ripe for the pickings of lecherous guards or bullies with authority. It's not just a dog-eat-dog world, it's bitches beat bitchin'. By 1992, criminal investigations were launched. Results? 119 charges against 8 individuals. And who said a dog with a bone to pick can't be heard? No one at Friendly Spike. They wrote the story and the Grandview survivors were somewhat vindicated, but not totally healed. Would they ever? And so they started to sing. When you form a circle, nobody's first and nobody's last. The good that we do will make up for the hurts of the past. Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the howling backwards of the world. I stand my feet, wiggle my tail, howl back because we are howling for 1, 2, 3, 4, forwards towards a new creative vocalization of yips, barks, growls, sniffs, slobbers, nips, pulls, digs, licks, bites, snuggles, cuddles. These bitches climbed those walls, metaphorically, realistically. They stuck out their thumb, hitched and howled and bitched away from the grand view of the hellish grand view. They lived to tell, to stage their salvation. It is the links of humanity born of past troubles. And they told their tale and wagged their tail and opened the way for others to wag their own tail. Some blurred the lines with cross-dressing, singing, baying, putting on my guy. Others took their life experience, instructors to instructing. The common cause in the classroom each took a social justice cause out of the mundane and into the theater. And Myron made his psychiatric review board hearing into the Great Dane, not mundane of theatricals, saying, I told you my story, now it's your turn to tell yours. Through storytelling, we link our humanity, our caninimity, and what have we got? We got empathy. The bottom line, say it again, we got empathy. And the common cause they all realized was each and every one had been very hurt at a very young age. And from these links to house links, note the big difference between these links and being on a chain leash, each one unleashing their inner, you ain't nothing but a hound. Mutts and more mutts, pooch, poochie, churros, canine, not to be pets, petted or petticoated, but compadres, compañeros, because we got empathy. We're gonna bow, bow, bow to your wow, wow, wow. You got wow. We're gonna bow, and this is how we bow to your wow. Hands in the air, head held high, nod from side to side, then bow, wiggle, wiggle, waggle, waggle, wiggle. This is how we bow to your wow. Chorus, do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs of the world. I stand my feet, wiggle my tail, howl back because we are howling for 1, 2, 3, 4, forwards towards a new creative vocalization of yips, barks, growls, sniffs, slobbers, nips, pulls, digs, licks, bites, snuggles, cuddles. And through the stage theater, truth came out and about. And they swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you, dog. Thus, Human Rights Matter, produced by Friendly Spike in 2004, used 3 separate human rights complaints based on disability to make a point that disability rights are human rights, and they matter. And it is important to stand up for your rights. There is no advocate like a self-advocate. One case dealt with the wrongful termination of Matthew from the trendy boutique. Matthew had HIVs and the owner feared it was contagious. The second case dealt with a woman who was blind and used a guide dog. She was denied a rental unit at a prestigious properties because the owner did not allow dogs. The third case dealt with a woman labeled with schizophrenia who was denied a job at the chicken shack when the owner learned of her illness, and on it went, from trendy boutiques to chicken shacks to teach. Also in 2005, with the ODSP Action Coalition, reveals and revels how theater education activism changes humanity. Imagine the bitches in the Alpha Docs changing history, and on it went. 2006 is My Sister's Keeper, remembering the victims of the Montreal heartache and so many others. The Places We Shared, presented at the Alchemy Theater in 2006, set in Indy's Cafe and Dinner. And Alchemy happened. This brought diverse communities together in a show of support for Indura's rejection of an arranged marriage. 2007 is the dreadful anniversary of Edmund Yu's murder, 1997, and a remount of the Edmund Yu Project. 2008 is Tied Together, a Mad People's History play, MAM, May, Audrey, Matilda. 3 denizens of old 999 stepped out of their patient files and into our hearts with lessons linked to our own. Lest we forget our mad pride parading through this first decade of the millennium, each and every July like a bed being pushed down Queen Street. Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs. I stamp my feet, wiggle my tail, howl, howl back. Because we are howling for 1, 2, 3, 4 forwards towards a new creative vocalization of yips, barks, growls, sniffs, slobbers, nips, pulls, digs, licks, bites, snuggles, cuddles. And lo and behold, or should I say lo and be howled, we became tied together, and then we moved up to our own beat. Hands and feet keeping the beat, we marched to the backward world of the brilliant and important Degas and Del Bacid. Read it backwards, folks. The aged and the disabled. Dogs rule, and that brought us to the apple orchard surrounded by the walls are alive with the sound of making a difference. Not the same old story, and told our story that delivered us to what's next, the big C, and caught the attention of the theater world and great awards, and then Leonard Cohen died and we paid tribute in Madly I'm Your Fan, and then Just Us, Just Us, Just Us, and we're here, dear, do you hear? Do you hear it? Listen, we're howling back to all the Allen Ginsbergs of the world. I stamp my feet, wiggle my tail, howl, howl, because we are howling for 1, 2, 3, 4 forwards towards a new creative vocalization of yips, barks, growls, sniffs, slobbers, nips, pulls, digs, licks, bites, snuggles, cuddles. Howl for 1 and 1 for howl!
And now we have the wonderful, great Danya Saad.